Hey guys, welcome back here. We know Age of Eternity is out, but we don't need to play those cards. Let's just play the best deck in the format. And of course, guys, I am talking about Spy Elves. Obviously the greatest deck in the format, no questions asked. I'm not a bit biased here, but I really do love this deck, of course. I've made some more changes. Basically, the main thing I've done from the previous video, since pre-Edge of Eternity, is I've cut the Umina Taverns and I've put 2 Mass Vandals in the main. And that is essentially because that deck's the flex slot. Obviously, Mass Vandal has some main deck applications against main deck graveyard hit, like Spellbomb, etc. But it also opens up cards in the sideboard, which is a real important part, right? So here we are playing the 5 lands version with 3 Deep Shadows and 9 in total mana dorks. I could play something like Jasper Sentinel in this slot, and I really have debated it and tried it and stuff. And I'm not against it, and I think that's fine. If you have a local metagame that's very closed, there is a lot of things that you can open up in the sideboard, and because of that, you can then put the Mass Vandals back in the board if that's not necessary, and away you go. But I think with Edge of Eternity it's just so open and all that sort of stuff. But also the metagame is so open generally that I think it's worthwhile just playing these. But essentially what this deck's trying to do, if you haven't seen the 3 previous videos I've done on this deck, it's a spy deck at heart. And the spy deck, I will just make this bigger, not that much bigger, Jesus. I'll just make this a little bit bigger. So Spy is essentially a card that you target yourself once you've got all your lands out your deck, and this is where it gets a bit weird. You're only running 5 with Land Grant, Sagu Wildling, Generous End, and Sylvan Ranger as well. Once you've got all your lands out your deck, you can mill yourself over, so you mill your entire deck. You then have 2 other creatures in play, or play 2 other creatures afterwards. Sometimes it does come up. And you Dread Return, targeting a Lot Left Giant, and as you can see here, you have 42 creatures in your deck, so you can basically hit them for what, 40-ish, 39, something like that. Well, 41 I guess is the max. But yeah, that's kind of the idea. But the backup plan, because there's various versions of this deck. There's 5 land spy, there's 6 land spy, and there's spy walls. There's also spy elves here in this case. The big difference is this has I would say a solid secondary and tertiary backup plan. So 5 land spy and 6 land spy, they both operate on casting their big bomby Troll of Khazad-dûm, the other bombs like that, where like your Sagu Wildlands, your Generous Ents, your Troll of Khazad-dûms, but then you also have like this weird Songs of the Damned Crawl from the Cellar sort of thing, so you can kind of fight through graveyard hate because they're unconjurable. 6 land spy is more of a mid-range deck that plays Writhing Chrysalis, Generous End, Troll of Khazad-dûm, has a mid-range plan, and then once they sort of fall to that, you then Balustrade Spy and kill them. Spy Walls is a 4 or 5 land spy deck that basically operates Overgrown Battlements and Axebane Guardian, which then once it's quickly got all its lands out of its deck, it uses the mana from Walls to essentially cast its bombs a lot quicker than 6 land spy, and then kill your opponent using that, and then also has the spy backup plan, where I think the big thing about this is we also have that plan of casting the big bombs. We don't have Troll of Khazad-dûm because we have base mono green. We do have Generous Ent and Sagu Wildling, which are reasonable threats. We also do have the 1 Lot Left Giant, but we have also Nyxborn Hydra as well, because it's a good halfway house. It's a halfway between a big bomb that you can cast for 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever. It's a good creature to cast off Priest of Titania, as you've seen in normal mono green elves. But also, it is a 1-drop, which actually does matter. It's a 1-drop that doesn't kill itself like all the X-mana creatures like Walk and Blister and stuff like that, like obviously in previous times gone by, in other formats. But it's a 1-mana or 1, which actually does come up. So with 5 lands and a mana dork, you can effectively go Balustrade Spy, use your mana dork, play your Nyxborn Hydra. You now have 3 creatures in play. That allows you to have a creature to play off Dread Return. That's 3 creatures, the Balustrade Spy, the 1 elf, and the Nyxborn Hydra. If you do have 6 lands, which we'll come to in a second, which I used to have, but I also have moved it to the board, you can essentially win off 0 creatures in play. because you have also is the same with all these 1-mana guys, right? But Nyxborn Hydra is both, which also allows you on that spectrum, right? So it allows you to have, not only do you have 13, 13 1-mana creatures, but you then also have 3 extra with the Nyxborn Hydra, which really does allow you to win off an empty board, which does come up because of Crackland Shaman and other wrath effects, etc. But then you have the other backup plan, which is actually just a normal Elves plan. So you have Timberwatch, Priestess Titania, Quirion Ranger, etc., which just really does allow you to power out the Elves plan. But the big plus for this deck, which a lot of people don't really see, is with Land Grant, pulling out your lands, especially Land Grant. If obviously Saga Wilding also helps shuffling itself back in, but with Land Grant, you get to effectively use it as a fetch land to pull a land out your deck, but you've also pulled the spell out of the deck, which is also a land, so that once all these lands are out your deck, or even if 3 of them are out your deck, say, you'll lead the Stampedes and your Winding Waves just go through the roof. Like hitting for 4, 5, because you notice we literally have 4 Land Grants, the 8 draw spells themselves, and 1 Dread Return. Winding Way, it does get a bit awkward, right? Because if you go Forest, Winding Way, you hit your Swamp, it gets infinitely harder, which is where the pull for the Jasper Sentinels and the Birchflower Rangers come in. We do have Elves of the Deep Shadow to sort of mitigate that a little bit, so we can still cast our Black Spell, i.e. our Balustrade Spy, but it does sort of come up. The only downside, the biggest downside with this deck, is I think Crackland Shaman can be a problem because both versions do have a fold and plan to Crackland, right? Because Elves isn't good against Crackland. Spy sometimes not be good against Crackland. But we do, again, have ways to mitigate that, being Nyxborn Hydra and Sagu Wildland. Nyxborn Hydra allows you to put it on the creature, and then if they kill that creature, at least the Nyxborn comes back. So you have that sort of way. But then obviously Sagu Wildland has flying, so that gets around the Crackland Shaman. There is a lot of random ways to do it. But in my opinion, the biggest risky part about this deck, which matters in some matchups, not all, but some, is that we are greeding out 1-on-1. So a lot of Walls Spy, 6-land Spy, etc. They play 2 and 2. They play 2 Dread Returns, 2 Lot Lefts. And that is basically because of redundancy. If you draw them, you can't really, you basically have to cast them, right? So in this, we do have ways of casting them. We can just have our Mana Dorks, Quirion Rangers, and our lands, and we can just hard cast a Lot Left Giant. That does come up. But obviously, Priest, you can go with Priest and stuff. You can go Balustrade Spy plus Lot Left. You do need a Deep Shadow though, because we are only playing 1 Swamp, which again is another pull for the Jasper Sentinel. But these are just things to note, obviously. But the awkward thing is, well, I guess it's not awkward thing. There is ways around it. You can discard to hand size, and the best way of doing that is basically once you've got your lands out your deck, you can go lead and Winding Way, and you go over maximum hand size, and you basically just discard the Lot Left Giant. A lot of times as well, if you're out of shufflers, or if you're on 1 land less or whatever, you can note to put the land on the bottom with lead, so you know where that land is, and if you don't shuffle, you know it's on the bottom. So therefore, you can just mill your deck anyway. So you can mill with 1 less card. You can then also, you get weird things in, mirrors. Once you got 4 out your 5 lands out, you can actually put it, second from bottom. And then the last card's, an irrelevant thing you put on the bottom. So that you, a Winding Way or whatever. So that basically, you could actually make it a creature as well that you just don't pick. But basically, it's second from top. So if they then try to spy you because they know they're going to whatever, you can then basically... you mill over, you're left with 1 card, you can untap, draw, and then kill them. You get really weird mind games with stuff like that, which I think is really cool. But that is basically the deck. We're just sort of going through nuances at this point. But that's the deck. We're basically playing Elves, but it also has Spy combo in. But the real bonus for the Elf side is maximising the Winding Way and lead the Stampede. Sideboard gets a bit interesting because I'm trying quite a bit of newish cards. Or cards I haven't tried before. So Mezfiend's the big important one. That's the main one. That's for combo decks. You need to rip the hand apart. You need to take something relevant out of the hand for either part of your combo. Great. We're playing 3 Ferryman cards because Spy is everywhere. Some people have said that they've versed it 4 or 5 times in a league. So it's just good to have sideboard cards for the matchup if you're expecting it. 2 Mass Vandals to go up to 4 for graveyard hit based decks. A Swamp is for wildfire decks. So once you combo them off game 1, they see you've got 4 forests and a swamp and you combo through your deck. They can literally snip at that deck and see your deck list. You can then bring in that swamp, because what it does is you don't generally have to search for it, because you get a swamp, you play it, they'll wildfire it, you search for another swamp. You've kind of negated what their game plan was, because they can see your deck and see you're only running these 4 cards as way for black sources, so it kind of works out. Acorn Harvest is a way to deal with Crackling Shaman, because if you can board in or have 6 lands, you can basically, or have 6 mana, sorry, you can basically go Spy. They can Crackling Shaman your elves away. You float 2 mana, you Acorn Harvest, bring the 2, once you've milled your deck, you Acorn Harvest, put the 2 squirrels into play. It then passes back priority to you because you're the active player, and you can sack 3 to Dread Return before they have a chance to Crackling Shaman. So that is basically the idea behind that. And then we're trying Nihila's Disciple instead of Healer of the Glade. I'm not too sold on this card just yet, because the life gain comes from all the elves and all your like devotion to green for that reason. But the problem is in the life gain decks, they've got Bolt, they've got End of Festivities, they've got Lava Dart, etc. So like they can keep you low on green pips anyways. So that is the thing I'm really concerned about. But it gets better in say like Madness, where they're not really killing your creatures as much. So that's sort of the idea. Sorry for the long deck tech, guys. I really do like deep diving onto this deck. So do let me know what you think, because it is so sweet to play. Thank you, obviously, Daybreak, for all the great opportunities through the creator program. If you haven't seen those videos, please check out the early access that we got for, obviously, Edges of Eternity. It was great to try some wacky decks. And yeah, we're just going back to this deck because it is a classic favourite of mine. And I will see you guys for round number 1. And do not forget to like and subscribe. We're on our way to 3k subscribers. And I will see you guys in the first round that I've already said. Hey guys, welcome back here to round number 1. We are on the draw. We can keep this hand, however it's not fantastic. We're missing a 1 mana Dark here, but we will see. Conduit Pylon. So this generally means it's Flicker or Dredge, right? Could be Red Dredge. Red Dredge, Normal Dredge, or Flickertron is usually where it's at. Or Altar, I guess. Some sort of Tron. Which this implies it's Altar. So we're going to play Quidiano. F6 here. Do we wind him on 2? I think we have to, right? Malevolent Rumble. So you can't take that. Malevolent Rumble, Candy Trail. So you take Map there. That would definitely not been the card I would have taken. But I guess we pull a land out of our deck first, right? Yeah. Just in case. Just maximize the hits on this wind way, right? Creature. So we hit Land Grant, lead. And a 1. Damn. I was thinking we're going to have to discard the hand size here, but clearly not. Let's attack for 1. The awkward thing here is the Elves plan doesn't really work against Altar, right? Because they have so much life gain. It's kind of the problem. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're 1 land away though, right? Triple Land Grant. Funny. Rumble again. Eviscerate's inside they can't take. Murder Retriever, Chromatic Star, Wellspring. They're missing on land drop. So they take, there's a Murder Retriever in the bin, there's a Wellspring in the bin. Okay. So they're going to get a Tron land, they're going to play a tower player. Map. Sure thing. What an interesting turn of events. Huh. I was very much... The land is interesting, right? Because we've now only got 1 land left in our deck. I was very much interested in just Timber Watching here. But there's a world where... No, there isn't. We can't win next turn, right? Because we can't play a creature this turn. So maybe we do just Timber Watch Elf. And I'm fine with that, I think. I also get to go lead the Stampede Forest and then play a 1 mana Elf, generally. So they have Chromatic Star and 5 unknowns. We do need to combo kill them, right? Is basically what we need to do. Map. Nope. Filter for a black. Sure. We're going to eviscerate inside this. Oh, no. What odd line of play. Mine. Do you have another star? No. Not at all. Okay. Sagu. So I'm going to play a lead here. There is... We're going to 5, 6, 7, 8. Play land. Yeah, so we can just take all 4 here, right? So we'll play land. We will attack here. Deal you 4. Pass the turn. No spy in that pile. No 1-mana elves either. Which is pretty interesting. Also, the last land grants on the bottom. They found Tron. Golem Foundry, sure. Kinsmith. I'm just going to F6 here because there's nothing really I can do. We can, no Mass Vandal either. We can put a Nyxborn Hydra on something. We don't even need to buff it, right? We just need to give it trample. We only have 3 elves. We've only got 3 elves in play though. We're not massive on the amount of elves. But Mass Vandal was an incredible draw. Especially when we get to Generous End here. We can hit the, what do we hit? Do we hit the Mer Retriever here? Because there's one in the bin. But it means they also don't get a return anything with 4 cards. Yeah, do that. That means we got 4 elves as well. Which is also very important. 4, 8. 4, 8, 12, 13, 14 is lethal. So we don't actually care. We're 1 elf away from killing them, to be honest. Which is also quite funny. I wonder if they're going to block this. 4, 8, 12, 13, 14. They kind of have to block this, right? Otherwise they die. So do we put them to 1? Or do we just... This kills this anyways, so I feel like we do. I think putting them to... Putting them to 1 that much better? As opposed to putting them to, what, 5? I feel like I don't even do that much, right? I think I'm fine doing this. And just pumping this. Yeah, let's keep the amount of elves in play. This goes to 5. I don't even need to bounce through the land, I don't think. Hitting the Mer Retriever was pretty good there, right? Is the main thing. Ashnod's Altar, sure. Another Mer. So they have infinite. So they had another Mer Retriever. Wow. They drew incredibly well. They have infinite Mers. Sure. That is so lucky. So they seen 3 Mer. They seen 3 out of their, is it 5 or 6? Because they have 2 Kinsmiths, 4 Mer Retrievers. They seen 3 of them in their top 35 cards. Like, all they're doing is making infinite golems right now. Which is totally fair. But we could literally just play a land. At the moment, that's all they've got. Right? They're not netting infinite mana or anything. Well, they aren't making infinite mana because they have a Golem Foundry. Which they can make infinite golems, which they can infinite mana, which then they can make infinite of 1 colour. It's colourless, right? They've got 1 black source, 1 green source. Or 1 of any colour source, 1 green source. So they can insight something. But this is them just making enough mana. Yep. 4 mana, 6 mana, they're just tapping a black. Pathetic Prism. Okay. So they have another mana of any colour. Another mana of any colour. Play the Mer Retriever. But right now I'm not dead. And we have an out to win. Yep. Do they have a weather here? No, they have a Mer Retriever, sure. So they have 2 cards. And there's an insight in the bin. And a Packdoll. So there is a Packdoll in the bin. It's decks like these that give me hope for the black warp card, right? Because Mer Retriever needs that many. Yep, 6. Make it a black. Blood Fountain is lethal, right? Because they can return this Packdoll and a Mer. We're not going to make them go through it. We have better things to do at that time. So, we want these. And we want the Macabres. I don't think we want Mesfiend, right? My main thing is that the elf plan is not good. And then I think they're just not good at all. So maybe we just bring all of these in. And then do we just bring in 2 Mesfiends as well? I don't hate it. Let's try that. Maybe we want a 3rd Mesfiend. I don't know. I think we got pretty like the draw was pretty minging. Like it was pretty rotten for us. Like we literally had 3 draw spells, right? So we had 3 draw spells, which is okay. This hand's pretty good. But then we hit Land Grant, Lead the Stampede, and a Generous End. And then we hit 4 do-nothings, really. We can't play this Deep Shadows on 1 because of this swamp. So I'm going to play this and then pass. But I'm just going to play Priest. Tronland map. Yep. They've never seen a spy, so they maybe didn't. Ooh. This is actually quite good. Because we... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can we... Huh. Let's play this. Let's play this. Cast this. So if I'd actually went Roost Seek there, here. So if I went Roost Seek there. Got the land out of the deck. Land, get the land out of the deck. Then play the land, play the Elf of the Deep Shadows. That's 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Still good. That was 1 mana short. If this was a forest, if we had them in the other order, we won this game. That's quite interesting to think about. We could have turned 3'd them there with double land grant. Mer Retriever, sure. We also haven't showed them a single card right now, which is really interesting to me. Sagu. Do we go for this here? I feel like we do, right? Is there a downside? Obviously, Fairy Macabre is the only one that I can think of. If that's the case, we just do this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I think we go Reveal, right? Hi. Do we give them no reason to think that we were Spy, though, as well, which is pretty interesting all around, I think. The only thing was the land grant, right? 1 and a black. Eviscerator's Insight. Bring back them. So they probably brought in Fairy Macabres. If that's what they're doing here. Let's see. Dread Return. Where's our Lotleths? Oh, our Lotleths there. Let's float some mana, I guess. Just in case. Dread Return. Lotleth. I don't really know what I'm just in case in like, but just in case. Did the board in Fairy Macabre? They did not. Let's go! GG! Yep. Easy. So I do think we want the extra Mezfiends in now. Especially because of that. What are we cutting? That was pretty sick though. Being able to just pull every land out of our deck with 3, like, all the land grants and stuff. Nice. Probably cut a Macabre, right? And then a Mystic. Seems fine. Let's try that. So we have land grant Sagu. Seems fine. And a Fairy Macabre. Easy keep. Tron land. Candy Trail. Do we Sagu a Swamp? Or do we Sylvan Ranger this one? I think we Sagu the Swamp, right? So we got Forest, play Forest, Forest, cast Roost Seek, Swamp. And then we get Mezfiend on 2. Yeah, that seems fine. Do we want a Mezfiend on 2 actually? Or do we wait? I don't know, I guess it depends on what they do, right? They did 1 top, 1 bottom with the Candy Trail. Malevolent Rumble. Cast a Malevolent Rumble. They hit Last Rites, which they can't take. Star, Power Plant. I'm assuming they're probably taking that land. They choose a star. They're going to sack this to play the star. They oh, okay, so they have a star in hand. So they have star and 3 unknowns. Do we want to lead on Sylvan Ranger or anything of the sort? Huh. I'd like to Mezfiend. It's a weird one, right? Because I could discard the Macabre to trigger the Mass Vandal to blow up the map, which is sort of potentially like blowing up a land. But they must have another land, right? I could also Sylvan Ranger, get the Swamp so I can lead next turn. Or I could... I think I'm fine just casting Mezfiend here. They could have a Last Rites. Well. So we just take... I think we just take map here. So that's their hand. I don't need to take bother on Mer Retriever, I don't think, with the Fairy Macabre in our hand. They're stuck on lands, so they'll have to crack the map here. No. Unless they've obviously... Yeah. Crack the map. Get a mine. I must get a tower. Why get a tower there? That's so interesting. Okay. So what do I want to hit? I guess I just go Sylvan Ranger, get a Forest pass. Well, attack for 1. Yes. Forest. So I've got 2 forests left in my deck. 1 forest in a minute when I get this Generous End. I'm going to hold off on the Generous End. They take 1. We'll generous end a turn. And did they find a mine? We could have obviously hit any of those artifacts there. We could have went like generous and get a forest and then mass vandal. But I feel like hitting the Manatraders or Packdoll are both much better targets. Yep. Okay. Packdoll? Sure. Yield to end step. Forest cycle. So we have one land left in our deck. That is a pretty good draw. So we'll play Priest. Play Mass Vandal this. And we still have Fairy Macabre if they somehow manage to wing getting the combo right now. With Manatraders 2 unknowns. Which isn't out the question, right? There's definitely worse things for them to do. I think hitting this map was pretty good though. It's stopped them getting Tron so far. We have 3 elves in play. Just lead for this leader stampede. Play a conduit pylon. So still no Tron. They could have crop rotation though. They keep it on top. So they can sacrifice the Candy Trail to draw 3, gain 3, draw a card. On top. Crop rot. Wellspring. So they have Manatraders and 3 unknowns right now. Okie dokie. Masked Vandal numero 2. So let's start with a lead. Could hit a query in here. Quite a lot of cards that we could hit. This taps for 3 as well. But I maybe could have wind them with there, but I don't think I need. We in theory should have a lot of good draws here off this lead. Draw 5. 3 mana, draw 5, huh? So let's tap this. Cast. Cycle this. Get our last land out of our deck. Let's play this. Let's play this. Do we Mass Vandal this? Well, the answer is yes. And then let's swing for 3 here. Again, I'm just trying to mitigate their card draw here, while also trying to stop them getting lands out of the deck. Getting Tron. Just don't want them to play a mine. So they've got Manatraders 4 unknowns. And I just want them to commit like random stuff. This is a good sign for us, right? Yep. You know, Ashnod's Manatraders? Sure. Sack it, bring back what? If you sack it and bring something back, I'll just... I'll just macabre, right? Okay. So this sort of helps us anyways, right? Because we're now on no lands in hand. This sort of should hit quite heavily. Mezfiend. Mezfiend's a really good one. Mezfiend. See what they're working with. What's there? 3 cards in hand. Kinsmith. Goodbye, Kinsmith. Tower Conduit Pylon. Let's play another Wind and Way here. Give me Spy. There's a Spy. Quirion. GG! Let's go! Easy! See you guys for round number 2. Hey guys, welcome back to round number 2. And we have Findhorn into... Yeah, this is a keep, right? Has to be a keep. Has to be a keep. Findhorn Elves. Into Findhorn Elves? Oh, it is an elf, I guess. Every cloud. Nixieborn Hydra. Let's cycle this end. Mono green infect. Do we Nixborn? Nixborn for 1 to block. Make a 1/2. Give me that 1/2. That 1/2 life. I'm gonna block. I'm gonna block. Trading? Trading? Question mark? Nah. Okay. Quiriano. Quiriano is a good one. Because it allows us to play a Timberwatch and hold up 2 blockers. Which is pretty nice. So let's see what to do here. Probably just have to block with the Findhorn, right? I think. Do we have to take 4 cards? I think we block with 1. Do we block with this one? No, we block the other. Take 1. See if they've got a lethal attack, a lethal hit here. They could do. They could definitely have a lethal attack here, but they don't. Okay. So we take 1. That's fine. Another Elvish Mystic, which is pretty good. So let's play this. Let's do it. So what do we do? Attack for 1. Tap this. Bounce a land. Play Wind and Way? Yeah, it's fine. We're just getting him 1 damage for no reason. For free, really. And then we have to play Wind and Way here on creature. Mill over, land grant, and then mid cards. Sure. Pretty interesting, right? What to do. So if they attack, we block with the Timberwatch, I think. Yeah. I think is what we do. We block with the Timberwatch. See what they do. They have to pump it, or they just regenerate it. Sure. Okay. Is that it? Just because I can. It does die, but that's fine. It dies at the end of turn. So like if I untap bounce a land to tap this, it still dies end of turn, so goodbye. So let's cast Sagu. Sagu gets Swamp. We then play Priest. We then untap this. 1, 2. We then play land and then play Queen. And then we can block with Aquarian. Sets us up quite nicely, I think, to potentially look at Lead the Stampede, plus Quirion Ranger, plus Balustrade Spy, all that sort of good stuff. We're just trying to not die, right? Do we block with Elvish Mystic then, actually, instead of Quirion? Because then we can double Quirion. Yeah, I think we block with Elvish Mystic. There's no way of giving Trample, right? Yeah. There's no way of giving Trample at Haste for them, I don't think. Balustrade Spy. 1, 2, 3. So we don't have a way to double Spy, right? So we do this. And that works for us, right? Done. So we go this. Yes. Forest. Untap this. Bounce Forest. Play this. Tap this for 4. Generous End. Because we blocked like we did as well last turn, it doesn't actually matter, right? 3, 4, this. Dread Return. Okay. Sweet. Sweet indeed. So what's the game plan here? Mass Vandal doesn't really do much. It's Rancor. Hits Mer, I guess. Do we just want Mesfiend at that point? We're potentially running what? Or do we just not board? I think if we're going to board anything, it's maybe even Mass Vandal. I don't know. All depends on what their sideboard is, right? That's sort of the problem. And we kind of want to keep the creatures around us. We could probably cut 2 Nick Spawns, but we're on the draw. We are on the draw. I actually... Mesfiends to stop them. Mass Vandals to stop them killing... to stop them stopping us. Right? This is the way I see it. I think we managed that game quite well, though. So maybe we try not boarding. Maybe I think I'm going to cut a Nick Spawn for 1 Mass Vandal. I'm going to try that. That is what I'm going to see how we get on. Bum, 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 bum. Interesting game so far against Mono Green Infect. So we have Langrand Sagu. We also have our Langrand Ent into... Oh, God. Langrand... I think this is a keep, but it's awkward with the Giant, right? That's the problem. They multi 6, they multi 5. They multi 4. They have Mulligan to 4. They're on 4 cards. Land. Glistener Elf. Sure. So we're going to go Land Grant. Do we go Land Grant Quirion? I think not, right? I think we just have to hope we don't die. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go Generous End here. This sets up for if they go Rancor attack. They attack for 1. I'm assuming we're not dead. Pump, pump. Ah, okay. That's not the worst for them. Lead the Stampede, huh? So I get to go Sagu for the Swamp here. Quirion. Pass. And let's see what they do. The Snakeskin Veil's pretty good for them, but they're only on 1 card now. They can't play a Mer. I'll take 2. If they have double +4 here, we're dead. But they have a double pump spell, I think. Masked Vandal. Wind and Way are our options. I think I'm just going to go Lead the Stampede. Hopefully hit more than 2. So do this. Right. Done. So we have to discard 2 cards. So we're going to discard the Lotleth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lotleth and Wind and Way, I think. Seems to make the most sense. I could have attacked for 1 and then untapped and all that sort of stuff, but I don't feel like that's necessary. We will block here, though, I think. I think that's the best thing to do. But, because we're getting close to that point, right? Land, 2 cards in hand, so we will block. It's awkward if they do have, like, Tormod script and stuff in the deck, or even Fairy Macabre, right? They know our entire hand, as well, because we land granted. Yep. And up. Quirion, huh? So let's Sagu for a forest here. Sagu for a forest. Play a Quirion. Play a priest. Then pass. 1, 2, 3, 4. Priest for 2. I think we've got it next turn, right? If they don't have a Fairy Macabre. They have a Rancor. Sure. Do they have lethal? Do we have to block here? We have to block. Because 1 pump spell, because that's 3. That goes to 7. So we actually have to double block. I think we're dead. No? Okay. That gives us a little bit of breathing room, I think. So we're going to play Priest, Sagu, Forest, then Windhammer for creature. So this is sort of like what I'm talking about. If this was just like a Sylvan Ranger, yeah. So I think if this was like what I was trying to say before, if this was a Sylvan Ranger, we could have just played Balustrade Spy and then Nyxborn Hydra on 1. And then obviously if this is an extra mana, and then that's the 3 creatures there to combo off. Which is pretty interesting. Anyways, guys, 2-0, baby. Beating Infect. Unfortunately, they were on a multi 4. But anyways, thank you guys. See you guys for round number 3. Hey guys, welcome back here to round number 3. And we are on the play with an Elves of the Deep Shadow. I feel like we can't pass this up. We get to go. The awkward thing is the Giant, right? But we're going to end up with 2 black sources, which is quite nice, obviously. The Mass Vandal, pretty good again. See what our opponent's on. Maybe the Mass Vandal might come up. Who knows? But we have Elves of Deep Shadow into... I guess, do we land grant straight away? I think so, right? I think so. And the reason is just less card information, right? There's a potential that it thinks to Spell Pierce as well. So let's reveal our hand. I know obviously they gain information for what they do on turn 1, which is the awkward thing. But I think in the long run it's probably going to matter less. I do love the fact that this deck can play with its hand face up and they just know they're dead. To their opponent's playing. They've seen the lot left, so they know they're on... Oh, baby! Can we draw a Generous End? Generous End, baby! Ah. So let's go Roost Seek here for the Swamp. And the reason you get the Swamp here is basically because you have more ways to get the Forest out your deck. So you want to get the Swamp out as early as possible. Pretty much. Great Furnace. So they're on Grixis Affinity, which we kind of expected. There was a blue-black Affinity deck running around, so it could have been that, but... Crackland, sure. You know, Crackland Charmer me Elves. Blood Fountain. Sack the Blood. Sack the Blood. Blow up me Elves. Sack them. Come on. Who are you messing with? Of course that's what you're going to do. You have to, surely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1 mana short. I'm casting a lot left. They don't do it. The fact that Sagu is a Sagu and not a Generous End is also quite funny. Take 2. Because it was a Sagu, right? I couldn't blow up their land. But they're going to refurb us, and I don't think we can refurb the lot left. They're playing Grixis Affinity, so they'll have main deck Spellbomb. Oh. No refurb yet. No refurb yet. Wellspring. That's a good card to sacrifice to Crackland Shaman. Do they have another land drop in their 5 cards? They do not. And they do not even attack. Let's play lead. Sagu, Quirion, Nyxborn, Spy. Pretty good. So we get to go End. Sorry, not End. Wilding. Get a Forest. So let's have this for 2. Roost Seek. And then we can... What do we do? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're 1 land away. We can do this, I think. And this is fine. In a sort of weird way. Let's do this. Sort of protection with the Crackland Charm. Just for 1. They have to sack for an extra... Well, it's actually for 2, right? For keeping a creature. And we don't actively care too much. I actually probably should have done this on the Deep Shadow, not the Priest. Because I have an extra Priest, but I also have an extra Black Source. Which is slightly awkward, I think. They haven't found a land, though. which is something very relevant to think about. Then let this go. Interesting. Thoughtcast. Sure. Spell bomb is slightly annoying. Oh, God. Me back just clicked. No Ent is sort of becoming a little bit of a problem. No way of mass vandal this spell bomb. Still haven't found another land though. They attack for one. Okay. Sure thing. Another priest, huh? Just trying to think what the best way is to do this is. So we could basically play Quirion Elvish Mystic. Quirion Elvish Mystic, that leaves us with 2 mana here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we can Quirion this. Is what I want to be doing. I'm trying to think like we can mill ourselves. Blind mill. But if we hit enough creatures, then it gets really awkward because they can hit too many creatures, sorry. It can get a bit awkward, right? So I'm going to play another priest. And I'm actually just going to attack for 3. The mana screwed at the moment. I probably play an Elvish Mystic as well. Actually, I probably play an Elvish. I'll just play an Elvish Mystic. They're going to have to answer this stuff soon, right? They need to sacrifice 3 things to kill my priest with a Nyxborn on. They play a 1 mana Mirror Enforcer. Sure. Another Mirror Enforcer. Sure. The pressure is real. The pressure is real. All I need is an Ent, right? Even technically a Winding Way. Because I can name lands. I think Winding Way on lands works. So we have 8 draws here to sort of hit what we need. We just need a way of putting a creature... Well, we have more than that, right? We have 11 because we've got to lead the Stampede, right? And the reason I play the Elvish Mystic here is it allows us to... Oh, they're going for it. Yep. So it's 2. Draw a card. Deals 1 to everything. I guess I can just get overwhelmed too much. And then this kills this, so we have a 1-2 in play. Then what do they follow this up with? For another Mirror Enforcer. Sure. That's a lot of pressure. Can we win the game from here though? Quirion. So we can go Masked Vandal for 2 with 2 left over. Quirion 1 left over. Priest. And what do we actually Quirion here? What do we Masked Vandal? The Spell Bomb? For them to have another Spell Bomb? Or do we Spell Bomb this? To stop them having another red? We have 4 creatures in the bin. Masked Vandal's gonna block. Actually, probably 2. Nyxborn's probably gonna block. Yeah. And then this goes to 4 creatures, 5 creatures. What do we Masked Vandal? This is so awkward, right? Because we kind of want to hit the red source so they can't. I think it is actually the red source. And we just try and beat with elves. Because they're so mana screwed. Quirion, Priest. I wonder if they're gonna have to choose, right? This way they have to choose. They choose not to. Okay. Sure. Have your Spellbomb. Untap this. I haven't played a land, right? Come on, come on, come on. Give me that Priest. So we're gonna take 8 here. It's my turn. It's where they find the Great Furnace here. They finally draw a land and it's a Great Furnace. No, it's a Vault. Do they have double refurb? So my plan here is basically to play Timberwatch Elf and play Lotleth Giant is my plan. So they attack for 8. Well, we take 8 here down to 9. We're going to block 1. We don't want to take 12 down to 5. Means we die too easily. This puts us to 9, so they have to have 3 Galv Blasts instead of 2, which is the big reason for it. But then we're just going to try and cast these 2. A Lotleth Giant for 3 or for 4. Put them to 11. Then play Timberwatch Elf. I kind of want to play both of these, but I don't think I have the option to. I kind of want to play both of these, sorry. But I don't think I have the option to. I think I needed to Mass Vandal last turn. Wellspring, sure. At least they're not playing a land for something else. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 8. And this is kind of where a Birch Law would have come in. Quite nice, right? Generous End. Nice and on time. Which is actually pretty relevant as well. So we can play I think this means I can play Timberwatch. Can I play both Ent and 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 8. Tap this for 4. Untap this, play land. 5, 6, 7, and 3. I don't think so. But I can play Spy, right? As well as the Ent, I think. 9, 10, so it's 6, 10. So do I just thing them? I think I just played this. And this sort of blocks these, right? Quite nicely. And then I play Spy. Target them. Awkward with the refurb, though. Because there's a lot left giants in our hand. We don't really want to discard it. But our game plan here is to deal them 8 with this. He's basically kill them on the backswing, right? That's sort of the idea. Is we go a lot left giant. They mill 1 card as well. It's funny. Didn't realise that. Doorcast? Sure. But the idea is the Balustrade Spy can fly over. That's sort of the idea. If they play a non-red land here, we know we're free to just take 8. Interesting. They are sending. So we block here, take 4 out of 5. If they played a non-red land here, we would have took 8. Went to 1. Toxin. Sure. Death Touch Lifelink, put them at 19. But they trade guys. 3 elves. 3, 6, 7. They did have a tapped red land. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Elvish Mystic. So we play Elvish Mystic here. Because it's free. 7. A lot left. Deal you 6. They're probably going to pop the spell bomb here. Yep. And not to draw a card as well, which is nice. Nice for us. Goodbye. We still have a 6-5. Sure, you take nothing. We attack for 2 here. Let's make it 6. And tap this. Play land. Pass it down. So, if they have a Great Furnace here, we could potentially die, or potentially get really awkward here. They've used a Toxin, so the chances of them having another one's pretty slim. If they had Crackland plus Toxin. We also have double activate here as well. Third forecast. Super interesting. 4, 8, 9, 10. Huh. I can't think of a way that, obviously with having a lot left here is pretty nice because they can't kill. I guess they could with Galv, but then they don't have another red source. I'm just trying to think, how do they kill everything while still attacking for 8, which is pretty hard for them to do. They have another red source. Do they just have double Galv Blast? They have munitions. They've played a land this turn. I wonder what their plan is. Is it to hit the Quirion here? If they tap, sack the Wellspring, shoot the Quirion, it's sort of bad for them anyways, right? I can also, if they attack with both, I can block with the lot left and take 4. Makes sense. Okay. Winding Way. Well, let's start with that. That was an incredible draw for us. Creature. Do we have another Balustrade Spy? We have a Masked Vandal and some Sagus. I mean, sure. No way of doing anything super fancy with this Masked Vandal though, because it's Sagus that we found and not Ents. Right. So we can get 2 elves in play, which I think's fine. I guess I should have played the Sylvan Ranger. So I had this to 5, 5, 10, 12. Pretty relevant, I think. No. Do I just play a Masked Vandal? I think I just do 2, 5. I think I just played this. I think that's okay. Let's cast this. I think them being strapped for lands is really helping our case though. So we attack with these. Block. 5, 10, 12. Double block. Do I just tap this? Target this? I feel like I can't tap this, right? I just let one of these die. And I think that's okay. Sure. Take 2. Leaving this untapped, I think, is probably the key. Yeah. They're trying to bait me into target and stuff, which is then really awkward for them. Right. So anyways, we want these and we want this, basically, is what we want. And I think it's just the Nixes that go. Actually, it might be the Timber Watchers in this instance, right? It's normally Nix spawn because generally it's the worst elf payoff. But I think Timber Watch in general is not that great because of Crackling Shaman. And here we are just kind of looking at getting to 6 mana. Maybe I should bring in the Swamp as well. I don't know. We found a one Timber Watch elf. So I'm just going to go Land Grant Findhorn, right? It seems fine. I think that's the thing. We probably should have went at 6 lands. We keep 7, they got 6. Yep. We're just going to go Land Grant Findhorn. And it's quite nice that we found Ent as well, because we can actually go Sylvan Ranger, get Swamp, Forest Cycle for a forest. If we wanted to. I don't know if we do, but we can. Into a Thoughtcast. Pretty good. Pretty good sequence. Quirion. Do we want to play Timberwatch here? Land, Quirion, untap, play Timberwatch. I think that's probably the best bet, right? In all honesty. 1, 2, 3, yeah. Like, we're still on 1 land, which is slightly annoying, but they've got no red source right now. So I'm just maximizing on Quirion's potential here, I think. And then I potentially get to go Sylvan Ranger, get Forest, Generous End, or Generous End. No, you probably want Sylvan Ranger, right? Because they have an untapped red source as if. Into Crackland. Black. Kinda hoping no Crackland. Refurb. We will discard a Nix Spawn. Do you have the Crackland? They have a Spell Bomb. That's sort of okay. Do they have another Thoughtcast, I'm guessing? No, they have a Merton. So. Okay. Well, at that point, I actually wish I kept the Nix Spawn. Probably should discard the lead, but... So, let's go... Crazy. So, did this get Forest? Yes. Forest. Get... Deep Shadowed. 5 Elves. And then we attack with the Quirion. I think seems like an ample basis, right? Attack! Could deal them 10 here. If they don't block, we just let them take 1. They do block with a Refurb. Goodbye, Refurb. And, yep. We then untap the Elf. Can't play the land because we played the land already. But we want to do it in their turn, in our turn, and in their turn in case we need to. No Mass Vandals yet. No anything like that. This is the thing though, like obviously the Mass Vandal side of things is quite good at like hitting their red lands to stop the Crackland Shaman sort of payoff. That's where Timberwatch sort of gets in. Maybe it should be Timberwatch and not Nix Spawn, because obviously you've seen here where we're like, oh, Timberwatch. There's maybe more opportunities to force. I'll take 4. Do I have another Great Furnace? They do nothing. Sure. Attack for 2 here. I guess we probably... Masked Vandal. Elvish Mystic. I mean, we got a Masked Vandal. Which is pretty nice. What are we hitting though? That's the question. Probably nothing. We probably just hit for 2, right? And hold the Timberwatch. Actually, do we hit for 2? Yeah. And then I probably hold up Findhorn Elves for Generous End. That gives us 3 lands out of our deck. Spend a turn doing Fanatical Offering stuff. Yep. Get thyself a map token. Get thyself a map token. I'm just trying to think what the best way around all of this is. Another Mare Enforcer. That's pretty scary. Because we've just got a lot of nothing right now. Yep. Ooh. Kraken Shaman on top. I'm assuming it's staying there. Because of that, I also don't think we want to crack Generous End, right? Depending on if they don't play a land, if they play another land, actually. Are they going to attack? I don't think they can attack, right? They can. So I think we're going to block. We're going to block and pump this. No, not. I was going to say, I don't think they can attack. But I don't think we want a Generous End either right now. Because we want to go Mass Vandal, hit their Great Furnace, they've missed a land drop. And then they go crack the Spell Bomb to keep their red land. And then we Generous End in response. Is I think the way we want to do this. Another Forest. Do we even want to play that just yet? I guess it's free to then not untap, yeah. So it's Mass Vandal. Let's target the Great Furnace. Then I'm going to pop this Spell Bomb to keep their land alive. No. I'm going to try and dig. Sure. That's okay. Sure. I got to keep my guy alive. My guy around, I guess. And then I play... do I play an Elvish Mystic or a Query? I think I play a... I think I do any. I think I just attack. So 7. 7. Yeah, I think I play a Quirion. Because then I attack with this Sylvan Ranger and it's threatening lethal. They have to now block. Which is pretty funny. 7, 14, 21. Yep. Kill your guy. Untap this. And then we're going to hope they don't have another Great Furnace here. I'm also at the point where I can almost just cast this Generous Entrate. Which is also a fine play. We basically need them not have another Great Furnace. And we're hoping to just cut them off black. This one Timberwatch Elf alone has just absolutely annihilated them. We're going to cast down. Bargain, gain 7. 25. They're going to concede now because they haven't got a Great Furnace. I misboarded, but got absolutely rewarded. Yeah, I think we're right on keep Timberwatch and then keep it a 1 Nick spawn for sure. Wow. That was incredible. 3-0, baby. See you guys round number 4. We are here for round number 4 and on the play. We can keep this hand. Seems pretty good. Interesting though, we get to decide, do we want to go... the lot left's obviously a bit awkward as well, right? Do we get to go... I'm not going to Langrand here, which I did last game, but the more I think about it, the more it feels wrong, and I don't know why. Red? Nothing. Wow. Let's... I kind of don't want to Langrand to show them how bad our hand is. I'm going to Priest, and then pass. Force them to try and bolt this Priest here. But it's all because it dies to Lava Dart, right? Yep. Interesting that they didn't bolt the Mystic. They might be inclined to now, though, that we're only on 1 land. But we're not actually on 1 land. Generous End. Let's Langrand here. And see how bad our hand is. Do you want to see? Let's do this. And then they get to bolt this. Pretty savage. No. They spend 2 mana. They have 2 mana and they do nothing. What are they playing? There must be Madness, right? Yeah. Double Temper. Okay. Temper this, or Temper Face, Temper Timberwatch. Temper Timberwatch, Temper Face. I may be tempted as well to... Oh, they double hit our land. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to pass. I will cycle these end of turn, but I want to get a discard. It might be problematic if they start playing Gut Snipes, though. Not awful. We are on 20, though. They've double tempered. They've basically hit all of our creatures. So I'm going to cycle these so I don't draw lands. Because these are our last... I maybe shouldn't have cycled that one in particular. Because if I now draw a land grant... I don't think this is a valid strategy. But we're doing it. We kept the giant in hand, which is obviously is awkward, right? They're going to play Gut Snipe. Grab the prize Fiery Temper. So we take 5, now 15. And the worst thing is we have 2 turns before we start discarding one of these things. Oh, come on, please. No, not like this. Yeah. So now we're just going to discard one of these. The worst thing is, like, if we have 8 wind and we'll lead the Stampede effects, like they would have done it. Right? But this is an unfortunate way of just, like, Spy in general. Like, Spy can just draw these cards. We've done it the way to basically minimize this. I'm just going to go next game. We're not winning this game. So we can cut the Masked Vandals. I don't think we want Fairy Macabre, right? Cut these. Go 4 Disciples. Do we go land Acorn? It's a weird one, right? Because you want to combo off as fast as possible. You don't want the land, but they can kill everything. So I feel like we need land. And we're going down the Spy route. I'm maybe even supposed to have... maybe I'm not supposed to go down the Spy route. due to them having... So we are quite quick here, in all honesty. We might be able to get under them. We go Findhorn here, Sagu for a black, and then we kill them next turn. If they tap out. Which is a possibility. They could have Macabre as well, they most likely have Macabre. Yes. So let's Langram for a forest. Well, Langram for forest here. Forest. Play Findhorn. Get this for a Roost Seek. Get a swamp. And then we'll pass it down. 2, 3, 4. I play a mountain. Interesting for sure. Serum Blaze, my guy. Sure. Sylvan Ranger. So I'm going to play this. Sylvan Ranger. Get the other swamp. And that's basically all the swamps out of the deck. This Sagu can get a forest if we need to. But in 2 turns, we can actually just play the Sagu. I just don't want them to go land, Gutter Snipe. Well, they went land. If they go land, Gutter Snipe, I'll probably just cry. But this is what I was meaning about them killing the Manatraders, right? It's a pretty awkward thing. We've seen no leads either. No. 4, 5. So then do I have to just play, cycle the Sagu here? Probably. Deep Shadows. So let's play Elf of Deep Shadow. Play Roost Seek here. Get a forest. Play a forest. And then we attack for 1. Not that it matters. I'm conscious of obviously Fairy Macabre. That's a card that's in most of these decks now. It's in most decks to be honest. So maybe should have been boarding in Mezfiend. And they've drew quite a lot of cards here, so the chances are pretty high. Faithless. If they don't kill the Deep Shadow, we can win, assuming they don't have a... They're gonna go to our face, I'm assuming. Shadow. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Yeah, it's... We need a 1-mana Dork here. And them to not have a Macabre. We hit Timberwatch Elf. Timberwatch. Cast a Langram. Get a forest. Not going well. They're on 3 cards. We have a Spy. They have 4 cards now. They have a Kessig in hand. So the likelihood is they can kill us a Highway Robbery. They're going to sacrifice a mountain, I would assume. Yep. Sack a mountain. They can play a Lando. They have 5 cards in hand. Ugh. I think we have to go for this next turn, right? Yep. This is not that bad. Again, not that bad for us. It's all about assuming if they have a... So 3 cards in hand and a Macabre. They could have Double Bolt. Double Bolt is pretty bad. Could wind them way here. Is it getting any better than this? What does anyone think? So play the land that they know about. So they have Macabre or double actual Bolt. Double Dart doesn't do it. It has to be, if I have double Bolt. Or Bolt Dart, I guess. Is it getting any better? That's what we need to know. They could have Fire Blast as well, I guess. So maybe we just wind them away, try and find an Annihilus Disciple. Figuring out this matchup is so hard. Such a hard matchup to navigate. Because both Elves and Spy are pretty awful against it. Like, Wall Spy's not the worst, I don't think. Because they're all 4s and stuff. Tough one. Tough one to decide what they're doing. So if I wind them away, find an Annihilus Disciple, it's not the end of the world. It's not great, because we're probably just going to gain 1. But again, they don't gain life if they have... We don't gain any life if they have Dart Bolt. Or Bolt, I guess. So I can go for combo. Force them to have Bolt Dart. If they do, we die. I can wind them away and then we probably die anyways. Can I wind them away and probably wait a turn? Probably. Hope we don't die, because we can block here. So let's wind them away for creatures. Let's draw 3 cards. Boom. Oh, yeah. And a Priest. Priest doesn't do anything, but we hit double Annihilus Disciples. So let's do this. See what they do here. I'm kind of just hoping to force some life removal out their hand for life. They don't. Whoa. Big game. Big game. And then we get to follow up with Priest plus Annihilus Disciple next turn. Okay. That worked out quite nicely. The main thing is we have 1 backup Balustrade Spy is what we want. They cast that with flashback. And they're going to discard. They discard looting land. They can't attack, which is good for us. Land grant is the worst draw in our deck. Priest. Disciple. See what they do here with 1 mana available. Do nothing. Interesting. So I guess we will just attack for 3. We can cast Generous at next turn as well. Assuming they don't kill the priest. I don't want to go for this spy unless I know that the coast is clear. So maybe I should be bringing in Mezfit. Like maybe the elf plan just isn't achievable. Like the Timberwatch side of the elf plan isn't achievable. They're Faithless Looting yet again without 16. And they discard land. Faithless Looting again. They have another land. 3 cards in hand again. Highway Robbery Pits have 2 cards in hand, huh? 2 elves here. Maybe we're just on the aggro. It's aggro time. Ooh. Can we greed out this or do we just play Generous? I think we just play Generous then, right? Let's just cast a Generous End. It's a big 5/7. We got 19 now. And then let's swing for 6. And then we can follow that up with a lead. I just want them to use these 2 cards. Is basically all I want them to do. They're on 9. Okay. We can actually Balustrade Spy them. I don't think it's a good idea because we can put darts in their bin. But we have 3 cards. Obviously, Highway Robbery being one of them. They're tapping the land because they're going to go Sacrifice. Sacrifice, draw 2, they're on 5 cards. They could easily kill us here with 5 cards. 5 mana. Gutter Snipe would be a good start for them. Gutter Snipe, Bolt, Fire Blast is lethal. Or any combination of that. Grab the prize, the Fairy Macabre. So they did have a Fairy Macabre. And this is kind of... They probably have another, right? Is the sort of problem. Another Highway Robbery. They're going to choose discard, I'd imagine. Yep. They discard another Fairy Macabre. So that's 2. They must have a 3rd in hand. They have 3 in the deck. I should do this. To start with. Sylvan Ranger. Mystic. Spy. I mean, if we take the Spy, we're not really casting it though. Gonna swing for some amount of lethals. So if they got 2 this way. If I attack all out, they got 2. So they have to block. Yep. Take 7 to 2. Bolt. My face. 4 cards in hand. Do we think they've got the last Fairy Macabre? I think we're dead next turn. With 4 cards. I really do. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. They've done nothing for so many turns that I feel like they've got the 3rd Fairy Macabre. They've got another Faithless Looting. Like, are we really dead? No way you don't. No way you discard a Fairy Macabre here if you don't have another one, right? Do we have to just hope that we're not dead? I don't know. I don't know what to do. No. Like, they have 4 cards, so if we're assuming one's a Fairy Macabre, 3 cards, killers, I think we're just dead either way. That's my thought. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They've seen half their lands, they have it in their deck. They definitely have another Macabre, right? 100%. I kind of wanted another Disciple there. Is what I wanted. Can't expect 3 Disciples in the top 35, top 25 though, can we? So if we pass and they just burn us out, we're obviously just dead. That's is what it is. We found no Sagu either. No Quirion to potentially do something else. Maybe actually I misplayed here, right? Oh no, it doesn't matter because we're only playing 1. If we're playing 2 as well, that's the annoying thing. If we're playing, oh no, yeah, if we're playing, no, it doesn't matter actually. If we're playing 2, it doesn't matter. They usually only run 3 Macabres, so the chances of them having another one is pretty slim. They've played Bolt, 1 Bolt, 1 Dart, 2 Bolts, 1 Blaze. I think I'm supposed to go for it, even though I know for a fact they've got another Macabre, right? 100%. We're just dead. Come on then, Macabre, me brah. You get your 3rd one. I want to know if I was dead. I maybe should have just forced them because they were so dead. They're on 2. Maybe I should just force them. Yeah, maybe. Nah. That's so frustrating. Oh well. See you guys for the next one. Welcome back, guys, for round number 5. After thinking about round number 4 with the burn, like, we have so much damage in play, right? We just force them to... We just force them to have it. But the problem is, like, there's 2 ways of looking at it, right? That generally only run 3 macabres in the deck. So they've discarded the macabre because it was a looting, right? It was a looting and a highway robbery. It was basically to maximize burn so they could kill us next turn, right? My thought then is after that. So the 2 ways looking is that they've discarded the macabre to maximize burn, but then they're forcing us to have it even though they know we have it, which is the interesting thing. But then they also then bolt our face with the Flame Breather to maximize damage there. So then what I'm trying to say is like the two ways of looking at it is if they have got burn and they have discarded the macabre to thing it, like, there's 2 ways that works out. So they're going to try and double bluff us so we don't go for it because they know we've got it, because they must have a 3rd macabre, but then actually they've got burn in hand. Or they actually just have 3 macabres, and then we force them to find the burn. And I feel like the way they did it, they must have had that, because they did maximizing damage in all instances, they must have had the 3rd macabre. So then we probably should have just let them do it, as opposed to walking in it. Obviously, they could have just not had it next turn and burned us out. But I think it's probably correct to just force them to do that, because the only way they're discarding a macabre surely is because they have a 3rd one, right? So pretty unfortunate, like, way of thinking. I just should have just passed the turn because we had lethal on board. But yeah, it is what it is. We learn, we live and learn, and we can't keep this hand. It's an Orlander, and we can't keep this land. It's an Orlander. We can't keep this hand. It's an Orlander. We can't keep this hand. It's an Orlander. So here we have mulling to 3 cards. We just go these 3, I think. Maybe not the Spy, actually. It's maybe the Wind and Way. It's definitely Langran because we need a forest. And I think it's Wild in Wind and Way because that's the way we win the game, I think. Let's see what they're on. Island. Fair say. Okay. Tough matchup when you're on a multi 3, for sure. We hit a forest. So let's land cramp for a forest. And then let's Sagu for a swamp. They know now to count this Wind and Way though. It's a problem. That's the problem. But we've got 3 lands on our deck. If I knew I was going to draw a forest as our first card, I definitely would have kept a Spy. Because we're almost there. But you're never really going to Spy in this matchup. You're just going to Elf off, really. Island, Snow-Covered Island. They attack for 1 and pass. Okay. They don't hold up Spellstir here. Right? They hold up Counterspell for this Wind and Way. So unless they have multiple counterspells, this is going to resolve, yeah. Cool. Let's go, let's go. The other options as well you have is to board in a 2nd copy of each for against counterspell decks. But against Terror and Fairies, I don't think you really need it. And then the control decks, you just play the Elf plus Bomb plan and force them to deal with that. And then combo off. So, it's a weird one, right? It's a weird one. Yeah, that red matchup's pretty tough as well. Still thinking about that matchup, like how I could have done things differently, which is pretty cool. That's why I really like this deck. It just has so much gameplay, like interaction, and you're just like, oh, what do we do? Get a ninja. 1 mana ninja, try and find a land here. But they have Spell Pierce potentially. Oh, they're just going to play the Fairy. Nope, they have counter. Quirion. They know our hand though. Attack for 1. I think I'm okay as well with... Has to be hard counterspell though, right, as well? I can be Spell Pierce now because I played the Quirion. No, let's untap this. So, I'm gonna... I guess the awkward thing is they kill both. But it's not a draw, it's a loot. I'm just depending, do I block? So if they attack, do I block? I don't think so. They loot here. Basically, if I block, they can go Brine Barrow and I'll lose everything. They now get to go... now I get to go Fairy Seer. And then counter with a Spellster, which is slightly annoying. But the reason I didn't play it last turn is I should have played it before the Quirion. Then they had the actual hard counter spell. Couldn't spell pierce, but if I did afterwards, they could spell pierce. Miscreant, sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was a good draw, for sure. So I'm going to play the land. Then I play a Wind and Wear, which then gets countered. Yep. And then tap this, untap this, and then untap this, and then tap this, and then play. Like an incredible draw. Absolutely incredible draw from a Multa 3. Wow. We don't attack. They're on 2 cards in hand. Do we block now, though, with our massive amount of stuff in play? With our massive amount of stuff we have as an option? I think so. It sets up for a Mass Vandal too, which is quite nice. Mass Vandal blow up the Moonsword if they do have a Brine Barrow. I think we block, right? We have to block. So we got Mass Vandal plus Priest. 1, 2. 1, 2, yeah. Because they're gonna attack all out, right? We block here, they Brine Barrow. Then we play Mass Vandal, eat this, kill this, Priest. Gives us mana. Or we lead on Priest, probably. We could also block with this, but I don't think that's ideal. Because we don't want to lose another land. Scrying. 2 cards still, like, bottom both. So, like, stopping this card draw is pretty important, right? Block. If one of their cards is a Brine Barrow, like, that's okay. Cool. No Ninja either. 2 cards in hand. Also stops off on Mind. Post combat. Not that matter much. That's interesting though that we've got to this point. So do we play Timberwatch, Priest? We could play Priest plus Findhorn Elves. We could play Timberwatch and Findhorn Elves. So do we need mana or do we need power? We could also play Balustrade Spy. Like Balustrade Spy, mill them. Hopefully they don't get force spiked. Seems infinitely better. I could actually mill us, but I don't want to hit a land. We milled quite a lot of cards there, right? Off on mine, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. Swing. This one. Just in case I find another one. 2 mana ninja. 1 mana ninja. Okay. This is fine. So they have 2 fairies in hand, which they're probably going to cast. They're probably going to cast at least 1. Sure. They do know our contents of our entire hand, though. Which is a bit awkward for... They have 1 ninja, 1 unknown, right? Double top. At least we get to resolve our spells. That's something. So we get to kill this with a Mass Vandal. Priest for mana. 1, 2. So Priest and this. Seems pretty nice here. We then get to block this with this. Block a flyer. And then kill this. So we're only taking 1. I think that's... We're not in an awful position considering multi 3, right? The main thing is we never really need to try and combo. The elf thing should sort of get us there. Another Timberwatch. Yep. Yep. Don't want to attack. Oh, we're getting close. They're getting a lot of card advantage. Snap my Spy. That's pretty annoying. So we block here, take 2, 4. Ninja again. Sure. Well, that was 6. They have Fairy Seer and 3, so they have 3 unknowns in hand. Surely one of them must be a counterspell here. We're on 6 though. No Quirion anymore though. Also. 1 top, 1 bottom. There's a Quirion. Let's play Findorn. Means this taps for 4. I'm gonna play the Quirion first. Because I can still lead on Balustrade Spy. Timberwatch. Sort of like forcing them to deal with it right now, right? Untap this. Untap this. Play a land. Tap this for 6 and a black. So they're probably going to hit this with a counterspell. And then follow up with a Timberwatch. And then we are done. 7 elves in play. And they're on 19. 7, 14, 21. So if they attack all out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 they would need. They'll need 2 ninjas for that. They'll need another snap maybe. Like, this is incredibly close considering we mulled to 3. Like, I just find that baffling. So if we lose an elf, that's 6, 12, 18, 19. If we lose 1 elf, which is still lethal. Block like this. Yep. As sort of expected, right? Yep. And then ninjutsu. Yep. So they're on a fairy seer and 2 unknowns. So they're going to play a fairy seer. Do they have a snap? Because this is lethal. Do they have a brine barrow? Because that's not lethal. 6, 12, 18, 19. 1 power off the guy. If they have a snap or a brine barrow, I guess we don't want to tap this. Let's see what they do. Kind of gotta let this resolve, right? If they counter this, we then win. Even if it's with a spell stutter sprite. The awkward thing is if we get a spy off this, we can't cast it. The way I've tapped. Yep. Findhorn. Block. Oh man. This is so tough. Like, what are we doing? Probably Elf of the Deep Shadow to start with. What are we doing here? So intrigued. Let's swing. I think we have to try and go for leave because we're sort of dead next turn, right? 1, 2 in the air. If they have a ninja, we die. So we have to attack. No way! No way we won on a multi 3! Wow! That is crazy. That is crazy. Wow. Wow. Indeed. So what do we do from here is the interesting point, right? It's a weird one because you kind of want this, you kind of maybe want something, but actually, by the swamp, I don't think we really want anything. And do you know what? I think I'm fine taking out a Dread Return for the swamp. And basically all we do is just play this elf plan with the bombs. And the reason I want 6 lands is because then I can naturally cast pretty much all my bombs. And I think that's fine. I think that's okay. I could take the Lotleth out for a 3rd Mass Vandal, but the only thing I'm hitting there is the Moonsirker Hacker. But it also blocks quite nicely against all the ninjas. So maybe I want to. I don't know. It's tough, right? It's tough. It's tough. I think I might just take out the Lotleth and put in a Mass Vandal, to be honest. If I'm casting a 6-5 like that, I don't really care. I'm probably winning anyways. I think that's probably okay. I can't believe we won on a multi 3. Okay. Sure thing. Mulligano. So close. All we needed was 1 land there. Mulligano. There's a land. Let's keep this. Let's bottom this and do we bottom a Mass Vandal here? I kind of think so, right? The problem is it's a strange one, right? They've sort of still got to fear the combo, even though it's pretty hard to resolve for us. We'll see if it ever comes up. I don't think it will. Hello. There's an interesting one here as well. If they attack and just hold up mana, like what we do, we can Nick spawn for 1, which causes them problems anyways. Yep. Ninja. 2 mana ninja. Masked Vandal. So I can Mass Vandal here a block. I think I just Priest. Both of them die pretty hard to snap, right? I guess the only difference is Mass Vandal doesn't let them draw a card if they don't have it. This sets us back an incredible amount of time if they do have it. But it also is the biggest upside if they don't have it. Gives us quite a lot of mana. Let's see what to do. Probably play Fairy Seer Pass. If they don't have Snap, that is. They play Fairy Miscreant. That's it. Yeah. Okay. Sure thing. We found a swamp, huh? They have Fairy Seer 4 unknowns because it was a Fairy Seer they played, right? Yeah, it was. I think I'm still supposed to... Yeah, I think I'm still supposed to Priest. I maybe actually should have Timber Watched so they can't spell stutter this. Is what I should have done, actually. Because if they have a spell stutter here, it's pretty bad. Yep. Yeah, that was a misplay. Sure. Actually, I probably should have Nick spawned, not Timberwatched. No, I'll just take 4 for no reason. And they can play Fairies here and counter a 3-drop with a Spell Stutter Sprite. Yeah, they didn't have a Ninja either. Play another Miscreant, sure. They've only got 1 mana up. Makes sense. Makes sense. Yep. We took the information that we had and we basically played right into it because we're idiots. Unfortunate. They have 4 cards in hand and this resolves. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6. We can Mass Vandal this, but it does nothing. Like, I Mass Vandal this and nothing happens, right? I still think it's correct, but I think the thing that was incorrect was playing the Priest the second time, which is fine. We live and we learn, even though we already knew what we were saying, but we just ignored it anyways. So, all is well. All is well. Playing not the best these last 2 rounds, for sure. Making misplays. All around. We get to keep a 7. Let's go. We want to play Mystic here, so we can play all that green stuff. Because we want the Deep Shadows and all that sort of stuff, but we kind of just want... Because I'm going to play a Fairy, right? Tap my Mystic down. Ow. Mystic. Mystic. Quirion. Untap. Untap. Land. Deep Shadow. Shot. 2 mana. Attack for 1 and pass. We're on 3 cards, they're on 6. Let's see what they do. Awkward thing is as well, if they just attack for 1, don't ninja and pass. They don't even attack. That's crazy person's talk. Pinned on. See what they do. You are going to spell stutter this? I mean, imagine if we were playing 1 land spy. I do actually think we play a spy here though. 3. And do we play spy actually? Do we? What do we play lead? I think we can play lead here. Yeah, I think we can actually play lead. Swamps on the bottom. And really matter because we're going to search anyway. Untap. Tap. Do we just play priest? Yeah, let's play priest. Gives us the most mana, right? We're not going to attack with a Quirion. If they have a snap, they have a snap. We can follow it up with like a Sylvan Ranger, Sagu, all that sort of stuff. So they don't have a... Oh, okay. They're going to attack for 2. 3. 2. Ninja. No ninja. So let's play a Finthorn. Let's play a Sylvan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. Let's get a Swamp here, I think. Let's get a Swamp. Then let's play this for 7. Play a black. Let's cast this. You're going to have to counterspell this, right? Surely to Christ. Can't spell stutter either, so yes. Then we untap this. Can't play the land. But we then tap this. And then we play another spy. Target them. And then we cast a Sagu Wildling. Do we play this Mass Vandal? Doesn't do anything. So let's just pass. Do I care about this Quirion right now? Yes, because it allows us to attack. It allows us to attack with a Sagu or a Balustrade Spy and then untap one. But you now have 3 cards in hand. You don't have Overmind. We can block 2 things. Bind the monsters. Sure. That works for a turn. Yeah. Interestingly enough, yet another 4-1 with this deck. Fairies is such an incredibly good matchup for us as well, I think, generally. It forces them to have specific answers at specific times, for sure. I really do like this deck. And I think it does give you a lot more play than what Spy Walls does. Spy Walls is very linear. It's very good at doing what it does linearly. But I think this gives you much more play, personally. I think the Madness version, I did speak to them afterwards. They said they didn't have it, and I didn't. And I kind of knew that, and I just still played it. I just played badly. And you live and learn. Like, you sort of just play these things out, and it is what it is. So maybe it could have been a 5-0, who knows. And, yeah. But it was really sweet. I really do enjoy this deck. I really do. Please tell me if you do like it, or you're sick of seeing it. Whatever. But this deck is pretty good. And I hope you guys do not forget to like and subscribe. It is a great way to support me. I'm on my way to 3k subscribers. So it's the greatest thing you could do. Thank you guys. Thank you Daybreak as well for all the opportunities. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.